can do about it. You know I need love. Talking about love. Get out my life, why don't you, babe? You really don't want me. You just keep me hanging on. Get out my life, why don't you, baby? Get out my life, why don't you, baby?
Oh, you got that mic? Cool. Welcome, Omniacs. Welcome, Scott, where are you from?
Take it easy. Slow ride. Take it easy.
So,
Slow ride. Take it easy. Slow ride. Take it easy. I'm in the mood. The rhythm is right. Move to the music. We can roll all night. Slow ride. Slow ride. Take it easy. Slow ride.
yeah, so I've been up New York, New Jersey, and a couple of other states, and the UK, but it doesn't show common program or any other utilities that you think which is not allowed in certain states. So, play around this week of Phantom Wallet. What's that? Where the hell is that coming from? How about now?
Let me refresh. Take a minute.
Where is music coming from?
Now hold on. There's a 10-second delay, so let's see.
Oh, this is already banned from YouTube. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there you go. Now it's stopped.
It stopped? All right, so system audio. I'm going to turn that off so that can never happen again. All right. I think that's what it is. Now, can you hear me speaking? Where is music coming from? Yeah, okay. So the music was coming out. So the cool thing about Streamlabs is you can actually tell it, take the audio from anything I'm playing and stream it into my cast, which my chat room can't do. You got to hear it through the microphone. But Streamlabs allows you to actually pump the good music right through. The problem with that is because there was already a couple of minutes of music, this will be banned from YouTube by tomorrow. You can't play music and have a YouTube video going at the same time. Not certain type of music anyway. You'd have to have license for it. So yes, use Phantom Wallet. It's very simple. Just go to
Do it on Twitter, do it on YouTube.
thank you. So, Dano, as you were mentioning state, yes, New York State, New Jersey. I don't know if there's anywhere else in the United States and all of the UK. They ban certain types of coins. You cannot trade them on their platforms. But if you go over to Connecticut or any other state, barring New York and New Jersey, you can actually do the trading. Depends on where you set up your account. So, oddly enough, when I set up my account, it was so long ago, I set one up in my New York City address. When I tried to buy my own coin, it wouldn't let me because I'm from New York City and I can't buy my own coin. I had to change my address, of course, to Vegas where I live, and then I had no trouble buying the coin at Coinbase. All right, so we talked about Tesla going down. Let's see what it did. Oh my goodness. 353 remained valid. Look how far down we went. Oh my God. 322 and change. Oh well, I guess we went right through 353. And then let's go see what its buddy did. What'd your cousin do? SpaceX. Oh, it's on its way. Let's see, what do we get down to today? We got down to, thank you, Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
110.85 with a 107 target, huh? We're getting there. We're getting there. Let's go look at that again. I didn't realize my camera was sitting on top of the chart. All right, so SpaceX is heading towards that target. And what we just looked at was, where are you, Mr. Tesla? There we go. We looked at Tesla and look what happened down here. That's the actual bar right there. Okay, so we made that call. We'll have to see what else. What's the next call from here? We talked about this guy, NASDAQ, in the video last night. That it looked ugly here, and that most likely it was probably now turning into this. It's morphing into this. If you remember, that's what we were looking at from last night's video. And maybe not this anymore. Either way, it looks ugly to me.
Back a minute. You need anything?
I could do something to drink.
Sounds good.
Thank
you
you.
care what?
No.
Oh.
Thank you. And then we've got Mr. Bitcoin. If you recall, you know how my feelings about that lately. I love Bitcoin, but not lately. And look what it's doing here. It's having trouble at the trouble spot. I'll blow it up for you. It's having trouble at that spot. I don't know that that's the best look I've ever seen in my life for Bitcoin. It isn't. And then there's this monster. Look at crude. My goodness. And then we also did T-bonds in the video last night, right? We did bonds, and they did the same thing that we expected. Continue to fall from the bear flag. Now, we caught a piece of it last night. I didn't get a fill. We caught a piece of it 2 days ago. I didn't get a fill last night. Otherwise, I would have put us in again. So the things that should make the stock market go down are making the stock market go down. So that's what I was explaining in last night's video, and of course, here we are today. Now, I have to move out of the room with Lisa and back into my bat cave. Because if you recall, we had a wonderful profit in S&P on Monday, but it just my environment wasn't right. I set the alert incorrectly. I was off by 100 points, and we actually missed a good winning trade. Now let's go take a look at the low in wheat. That would be here. The low in wheat is 693. We're going to go look at Omni's buy for us in wheat. 693. Exactly where it went. The low of the day is 693. Problem I had was I didn't even hear the damn alert because upstairs in my bat cave, I've got Bose speakers. Bam, bam. It'll wake up neighbors. Downstairs, because it's been in Lisa's sick room, I had the quiet speakers on and I didn't hear the alert when it went off at 693. So it's 2 trades this week that staying in Lisa's room or Lisa's sick room has gotten in my hair. I am moving back into my room tonight. That's it. No more sick room. Got to stay in my bat cave where the sound is rocking and rolling and the screens are as big as the screens you can see here. So, I mean, not that there's a great deal of money in it, right? If we would have got filled at 693, they probably would have filled this at 3.5. It's only at 698. There's nothing in it. So no big deal that we didn't get in the trade. But at the same time, I don't want any fate to decide whether or not we get in trades. I want it to be our Omni decisions. So if Lisa can't make it upstairs, she's losing her partner. She's going to lose her nurse. That's been me. Hiya. So back into the bat cave we go tonight. Wow, crude at 93. Wow. Gold is also having a big problem. We're going to get another signal in gold very soon. Gold finally offered a signal to break out, right? Which it hasn't done for umpteen months. Broke out of the channel here and failed. Almost getting ready for another signal, kids. Just got to be patient. Yes, NASDAQ has definitely been tricky. MCM says 3-month kangaroo market on QQQ. What a mess. Yes, I agree it's been tricky, but we're not losing. We're not losing, kids. It's been tough, but we're not losing. Now, don't forget the bigger picture. We have to keep our eyes peeled on the weekly, not just the daily. Let's go here. Got to keep our eyes peeled on this guy. I've been telling you about it since the week started. Keep your eyes on this puppy. It's been in every video. Now, if it wasn't candles, I'd actually be able to look at that chart and not throw up. I'd actually make sense of that chart for you if it wasn't candles. Thank you.
Bam. You're welcome.
explain. What's that mean? Scott, make sure that you check with me because there are some imposters, which, by the way, I'm flattered that they're imposters that tried to make coins like mine, Scott. It flatters me. Make sure you check with me. The imposter coins are worth almost nothing, like zero, and my coin isn't. You'll see the difference very easily. Hi, I just spent 6 hours, let's see, on one thing. Find what Claude, the best stop level for just one strategy. By the way, we found after 100 of the test, the best stop level is almost all indices. SL, what's SL stand for? I thought it was stop level, but it's not, obviously. Stop, okay, stop loss. So your best, so far what you've come up with is your best area to play with stops has been in the indices. I guess that would make sense. That makes sense, Eddie. All right, what else is there to look at? I don't think there's anything else to look at, to be honest. Everything is what it is at the moment. Yep, there's really nothing else to look at. This was a weekly crude, but somehow the system just stopped performing on this page. So what is this? It's ECLU. There it is. Even on the weekly, crude is scary looking, isn't it? That's crude weekly. Look at that average hold. What's scary about that is, boy, was Wall Street paying attention to this crap, no? Look. Bam! Back down to it. Bam! They sure were using that for a trigger, huh? Of course. So, Eddie, what you're saying is each index you're finding is different. That is correct. Each market has its own characteristics. Wheat acts completely different from soybeans, even though they're in the same complex. Bean oil was way different from soy meal, even though they're in the same complex. NASDAQ can be completely different from Russell at any given moment, right? You can have transportation average down with when you have the Dow up. So yes, every market has its own characteristics. And the thing about us humans is if you get good at it, you start to learn different characteristics of different markets. Simple things. You're going to trade metals. If you're not going to be patient, you're not going to make money. Metals requires patience. It doesn't happen right away. You got to wait for the end of the day. There are certain things that just, characteristics of markets. If you're going to trade grains, stay away from grains in the winter. If you're going to trade coffee, sugar, cocoa, stay away from them in the summer. It's, there are just certain characteristics that you kind of need to know. Live with Oscar. Hello, Live with Oscar. Chris, this is a trading desk. Who are you looking for? Where are you from?
Sebastian, hello there.
Gotcha. Oh, so sorry, you're trading like a live trading desk where people call in to place orders to buy and sell stocks. So maybe you could take us off. Just take our number off that list. There'd be no reason to call in. Appreciate you.
Anything about our chat room, come on down, join us with the username and password. There's a blue button at the top that says Oscar's chat room. Click it and you'll be in. Questions about any of that, our Omni Phoenix crypto token, or even our recommendations that Oscar gives out, call us back at 702-629-4755. And by the way, Oscar's live streaming each day now on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Have a good one.
It's Thursday, right? Yes. All right, so here's the other thing that was said. We wanted to be short indices last night. Look at how close we actually got. This is where we're going to sell NASDAQ last night. 29,313. Get in, get short. The high was 29,282. It was getting up there, you know what I mean? It was starting to come into the neighborhood. I thought we were going to get a fill. That would have been a good fill. We weren't looking to sell S&Ps unless it went way higher, like 30 points higher. We weren't looking to sell Rust for another 20 points higher. But 15 to 30 points in NASDAQ is like a sneeze. I'm surprised we didn't get a fill on that. Yes, that is correct. But I'm going to check that for you anyway, just to be sure, buddy. But that should be it. Oh, Dan Tipton placed that. Yes, thank you, Dan. So underneath the video, by the way, every video that I have, let me show you what's underneath each video. This may help you out. Video. Move over here, please. Let's go to YouTube. Scott, I have this posted underneath every single video. If it'll let, oh, it's not going to let me put it in because it's got links. They're stopping me from putting these links in. Let's see if we can do this in two different places.
Click that. Any questions, call us back at 702-629-4755. By the way, Oscar's going live each day now on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Have a good one.
See what else is out there. Corn. You know what? Has anyone noticed corn or copper? Check these markets out. Look what corn's done.
You know, I usually bring that up from time to time, but I haven't looked at these.
Corn's getting a little ornery up here. Look at it.
Getting a little ornery.
I like it, Mike. Corn, see you. So corn's getting a little bullish, and I don't know if anyone's been watching copper, but look at the doctor. Even though it came off a little bit today, look at the doctor. It's starting to stick its ugly head up. I'm glad to see it got back in the channel today. You take today's bar away. When I looked at this last night, I went, ooh, careful here. Now, watching it get back down into this channel is good. We want copper to go lower, not higher. Copper's in a lot of products. Rain makes corn, corn makes whiskey. I like this. Whiskey makes rednecks. Rednecks own guns. Where are we going with this? Rednecks like their sisters. We could just keep this going forever.
Hello, Jack.
So
Hi, Jack. This
we
is
got
Jack
invited to a
from
wedding once
Oscar.com.
back.
You know,
It's got to be
Oscar
25 years ago now.
selling
And it was
most of
way deep into Georgia. Way
the-
deep into
Just
Georgia.
doing a quick courtesy phone call to say
And
as well as after
they were just giving us a tough time on the phone the whole time. You Yankee boys are coming down to our town. You Yankees, you know, they're messing with us. We're all friends.
Any questions at all?
We get down there, and we're not down there for an hour, and we get right into the New York jokes versus the redneck jokes. And I only had one, but it shut everybody up because I was the first one to throw the joke out. As someone approached me and I saw he was going to say something, right before he got to give out, and the jokes are nothing but funny, you know what I'm saying? Nobody gets mad at any of this. But right before the guy was about to say something about me, I went, "Hey, how do you circumcise a redneck little boy?
Like, you're not sure
Kick his sister in the chin."
like a time thing.
When I said that, I have to tell you, they laughed so hard. We had so much fun after that. We played like the dozens for 2 straight days. They were a lot of fun, those rednecks, I have to say. We had a good time with them. I don't know that rednecks exist anymore, but they did about 20, 25 years ago.
Whenever you're ready to make the move, regardless of it's like lots of knowledge or little knowledge, still that's the good thing about us. We like to be open to anybody like that.
We love novices.
Like he was just like Oscar was saying, we love novices.
Oh, they exist, huh, Dana? Well, you live closer to them than I do. I'm in a place where I don't know what to call people from here. They're not rednecks. They're not city boys. I don't know what we are here in Vegas.
Specifically, an Oscar question, I actually.
So they still exist? I haven't met one in a while, but I'm on the wrong side of the country to meet one. Well, rednecks weren't illegals. Rednecks were usually American inbred families that never left the farm and, you know, 3 families deep and whose uncle is whose cousin. And, you know, I mean, it was kind of an ugly time in the middle of the country or down south a little bit back in the day when there was nothing but AM radio, you know what I'm saying?
You don't confuse it with other things that have been learned, that kind of thing.
Mikey's in here with me. I cannot believe we're not short NASDAQ or long wheat today. It was certainly my goal. And if you want to know why I want to get long wheat,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Almost like in a.
look at this
like an
market.
entrance exam kind of thing.
Look at wheat. Who wouldn't want to be long that? Yes, so gold is absolutely back testing that channel right now. I think gold is going down. I didn't participate in this up move at all. I just left it alone. I'll participate again on the way down. Do you know why? Omniacs, traders out there. The idea is to try to learn what you can from me. Now, there are going to be some bashers out there, but I promise you, there are very few of you on this planet that have nearly the experience that I have learned working on the trading floors, working with all those companies out of Europe and out of New York City and Chicago. There are things I know none of you will ever know. Just, you know, it's just the way it works. I got lucky to grow up where I grew up about markets. There are things that you guys know that I'll never know about everything else in the world. When it comes to markets, there's probably some things I know that you don't. The simple matter here is why I didn't mess with gold on the way up is this. You've heard the old adage, let a trend be your friend, right? What does this trend look like to you? Why would you get involved in this when you can just wait for that? And when that happens, you get right back in. Why play hero on a trend, a market that's just absolutely trending lower? Why on earth do you want to be part of the upward movement when it's so much easier to be part of the downward movement? So gold, when it got above this line, I didn't take it as a buy signal for me. I took it as, okay, gold is changing gears. If it gets back into the channel, well, then I can get right back into let's sell more gold. So we'll see if it gets back in the channel. Simple stuff. But no, I know people that are exactly opposite. They are counter trend traders. If the market's going down, they like to buy on the 1 week that they expect it to go up. And if the market is in bullish market, they're always looking for the big crack. I try to trade in the way of the move, if I can, as long as the Omni Arrow is allowing me to, But personal trading decisions, I look at this and go, well, I wouldn't be long this ever. I would only sell it when it gets back in the selling groove. Where is Google right now? I actually didn't look at them today. Somebody just mentioned them, so let's go look. Where is Google? Well, might as well look at the whole gamut. Costco down, IBM down, AVGO down, 666. Yuck. Yuck. Skyworks. SHW. No one's painting their houses today, huh? Down 1023. Tesla down 53. Ow. Google down 21. Ooh, they didn't like Google at all today, huh? Amazon down 10. Apple down 5. Meta down 20. That's such an ugly looking chart. Meta's got one of the ugliest looking charts I've seen in a long time. I don't know what to do with it. It looks like a sale, but I stay away from it. So you're better off waiting for the sell in gold than getting into the counter trend in gold. Now, I get it's exciting to be long gold, but that train kind of left. You know what I mean? The silver and gold upside train left already. In fact, that train sort of did its whole ride, and a new train has come by since then. And then you've got those bonds. Now we're in the 109s. I haven't seen bonds in the 109s in a long time. Let's just see where it can go. How low can you go? Let's go look. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. How low can bonds go? When was the last time we were at 109? Let's go to a weekly, because of course we were at 109 during this segment right here, but when's the last time we were at 109? May of 23. That's why it's been a while. May of 23 is the last time we were down this low, except for this segment that we're in now. Huh.
Other one kind of similar.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Yeah, that one comes up a bit, and I get it completely.
Well, I guess the nice part is this could be what you do when that market is slow, right?
Uh-huh.
Just jump back and forth kind of thing.
No doubt. So my main strategy, Eddie's working on some kind of a AI trading strategy, so he's been keeping us up to date. So facts, my main strategy previously had a profit factor of 1.45, a read from my trading journal, which is created by AI. Now, after the back test and adjust the stop level, 1.823. You had a profit factor now of 1.823, which means you made your stops work better. Boy, I'm so glad I'm not back in those days, Eddie. I enjoyed every year of it. I enjoyed every minute of it. But I'm glad to not have to be a scientist again. I mean, if I get forced into it, I would become scientist again. Right now, I'm blessed. I don't have to. Omni seems to do its job. And I don't subscribe to fixing things that aren't broken until you get yourself in trouble. So the problem with Eddie just wrote, for this to work, I needed 3 years. Here's the problem with most trading systems. Anyone in the business will agree to this if they've been around long enough. Most systems only last about 5 years from the beginning of coming up with the idea to actually trading it and making money. You get about 5 years and then it blows up on average. So if it takes 3 years to get there, you better be fast and you'll last too.
Come on down and join us with the user and password. This is the blue button up top. This is Oscar's chat room. Click that here to begin. Questions on any of that or even Oscar's recommendations, call us back at 702-629-4755. By the way, Oscar's live streaming each day now on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Have a good one.
So, Eddie, you're saying the real winner is the fact that it's teaching you what you're doing wrong, huh? That's interesting. That's a very good outcome. Mikey looks tired. He needs an AI robocaller. Uh, 213. All right, so we're absolutely set up for another down day tomorrow unless something dramatic changes this afternoon. I can't imagine Omni not telling us to continue staying after the short side. Basically, with the exception of crude oil, there's been a meltdown across the board. All right, so soybeans are up 4 ticks, no big deal. Corn's up 2 ticks, and even less of a deal. Everything else is in trouble. Look at that red board. Cotton's unchanged, nothing there. Same thing with natural gas. So the green stuff is basically unchanged that you see on the board. Everything else red is red, like down a lot. A lot of red, yes. Oh, now the weed alert works. Thank you. 5 minutes before the close. Did you send me that PM on purpose?
Hello there, Michael Carboni from livewithoscar.com. You know Oscar on YouTube, stops are in, motions are out, technical analyst. Just wanted to say hi as well as ask if you had questions here at Live with Oscar. Anything about our Omni Camp seminar coming up in September 10th to the 14th. Anything about our Omni Phoenix crypto token, our free chat room where we haven't seen you in a while. So come on down and join us with your username and password. You'll see a blue button up top that says Oscar's chat room. Click it, you'll be in. Questions about any of that, go ahead and call us back at
3 weeks.
702-629-4755.
When the school,
By
they,
the way, Oscar's going live each day now on YouTube.
you know, they're the worst here, Eddie. They start school in the middle of August. Let's find out when they start school here. It's like the middle of August. These poor kids, it's the hottest time of year. When does public school begin? Let's check. Oh, get out of here. August 10th. What is wrong with these people sending kids in the beginning of August? These poor kids have to go to school in Las Vegas. That is just out of control.
Yeah, that is wild. The first week of
It makes zero sense that they make you kids go to school, that they make the kids in this town go to school in August. I mean, fucking seriously? You can't wait until September when things cool down? This is the desert, though. I mean, this is hot as you can possibly imagine, right? August is the hottest month, 110 to 120. Why would you send the kids in during that month?
And you're also going to rob everybody the first month of, like, extra things in PE class or things in the courtyard because
Sure, it's too hot to be out there. In New York State, we started September, first week of September, right? September 9th, you went back to school, somewhere right around there. So you got the entire summer to enjoy. Here, it's just so stupid that right in the middle of that summer, they yank them out and send them back to school. Now, if Nevada was offering that top-notch, best-in-the-nation education, I'd say, yeah, take these kids in the middle of August. But they don't. You might as well just let them wait till September. You ain't going to teach them anything in August anyway. Now, the one thing I haven't noticed here, although my kids haven't been in public school, I mean, haven't been in grade school in a long time, but I haven't noticed here that they teach the insanity that they teach in some other states. In other words, I don't think they teach hatred of America here and stuff like that. I've never heard that from any kids ever.
And take a review.
Oh, I'm glad she's going in.
Mm-hmm. I believe, unless she's out, but I didn't hear that she wasn't.
Okay.
Alright. And today's our Friday, anyway.
Oh, right. Today would be a Friday. Very cool. All right, Mikey.
See you in a bit.
Well, you know, Jay, there's going to be a lot of shorts in oil because the moment there's any announcement at all that something good happened in the Middle East, oil goes back to 80, right? So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of shorts, but how long can you stay short? How much pain can you take is probably what's happening right now. Oh, you're short crude? Yeah, I mean, I have zero on the chart that would tell me anything good about your position. I can tell you it's too expensive, and you will be right. It's just a matter of how much pain you can take first. Yeah, no doubt. I don't like to see anybody lose. I'll keep you in mind. if you want to share where you're short at. I'll keep your trade in mind. And if you don't want to share, it's okay. I get that too. Okay, that's not terrible. That's not a bad spot to be short crude. You'll see. You'll get that back. As long as we don't start doing that craziness over 100 type stuff, but I don't see that. Let's see. That was on 8, right? No, 5. Crude's on 5. Page 5 should be crude. Yes. Yeah, well, you may get lucky. Jay, is this double top up here, right? 95-ish. You might get lucky right there. I'm not the only person, nor are you, that can see that double top coming. So you may get some relief after you get there. Well, that's nice, Jay. I'm glad to hear that. Tesla's getting slammed today. Goldman Sachs says they could lift capacity above 14 million barrels a day by the end of 2028. Who's they? Who's he speaking for? Because there's OPEC, which he can't speak for. Yeah, but who's he speaking for? America? The U.S.? Got it. To mitigate the straits. Okay, I get you. That makes sense. Middle East oil producers are racing to, well, let's put this in front of everybody. Middle East oil producers are racing to build pipelines that bypass the Strait of Hormuz, with 7 pipelines under construction or planned across the region, CNBC reported. Goldman Sachs said they could lift capacity above 14 million barrels per day by the end of 2028, more than 60% of the 7 Gulf states' pre-war export volume. The UAE plans to double its capacity outside of Hormuz. Saudi Arabia is weighing 2 million barrels per day of expansion in the Red Sea. So there's a lot of stuff going on to say, keep that straight and stick it up your butt. Okay. I'll tell you what, Iran's lucky that I wasn't making decisions, because that strait would be 500 miles wider right now. Right now, that strait would be 500 miles wider. There'd be nothing but room. But that's me. I'm not a politician. Now, don't forget this. For 4 years, they slowed down or halted the capacity of the U.S. to belt out oil. For the last year and a half to 2 years, we were reversing that. So the U.S. is starting to show up as well. Well, if Trump signs the Clarity Act, I sure will be upset that I'm out of Bitcoin. Here's the thing, though. We're counting on a bunch of people in Washington to get together, all agree and sign something that's been being kicked down the road for years now. I'm not betting on them. I'm just not betting on them. I'm staying out of this. Until they actually sign it, I'm not even considering it. It's why would we want to put our time, effort, money, and chances behind a bunch of people from D.C.? You know, they're the last people you want to trust. So I don't know what to say about that. I know that I don't like the chart formation of Bitcoin, so I have sidelined myself for the last 2 weeks. Doesn't mean I won't be back in right away, but I have sidelined myself. The Clarity Act should help every crypto on this planet. But will it ever get signed, Terry? That's where the big problem is. If it was just up to Trump signing it, it would have been signed a long time ago. Well, OPEC hasn't been able to trust each other for the last 20 years. It got really bad in the last 10 years, where one side, OPEC would agree on something and then one side would start belting out more oil anyway. So OPEC's had a tough time agreeing with each other. Now, let's get back to the pipelines that are being built for a minute, gentlemen, ladies. You do realize that they're building them in the Middle East. You do realize that they are going to get blown up, these pipelines, from time to time to make the price of crude go higher every now and then repaired, then blown up again and repaired. So now we're going to have to deal with that nonsense if those pipelines actually get finished and start moving oil. How exciting. Really, nothing is jumping off this board at me today. Gold a little bit, but nothing is really jumping off the board. Nothing's calling me today. It's a shame we didn't get filled in NASDAQ because that was the big winner for the day. And I don't chase NASDAQ. When NASDAQ was 30 points away from us getting in, I do not chase the market. Had I made a decision to get in up there, that's one thing. But the market not quite getting to our level and then starting to go back the other way, I don't chase those ever. If I don't get a fill, I don't get a fill. We don't chase, we're patient. Chasing would have worked wonderfully today, but that's the problem with chasing. It only looks good on the times you miss. When you get in, you wish you didn't do it. At least as far as day trading is concerned. What a nice email. I won't out his name, but I'll show you the email. What a nice email. Look at this email I just got. This is fantastic. Michael, my son's calling people. Michael, it was so nice to talk to you. I'm sorry if I couldn't stay too long on the phone, but you caught me in the middle of my working day. I won't go over anything important in this email, as the most important thing is to start a good first-time impression for a long-term relationship. 1 second, baby. I'm your father's number one fan. and I hope to have a chance to meet you both soon. I'm not sure what I'm interested in learning. Should I be learning? I'm not sure what I'm most interested in learning on. Learning his trading techniques or learning where he gets so much energy from. His vitality and charisma are awesome. Time has already slowed me down, but Oscar is still burning nitromethane and firing on all 8 cylinders. Amazing. Please tell him I'm waiting for him to retire so I can approach him as a friend. It's time to hand over the baton, to pass the torch. Michael, you'll be hearing from me with work-related topics for the moment. Thank you for reaching out. What a great email, huh, guys? Come on now. What a great Omniac. You gotta love that. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't know where this energy comes from, but I'll have it till the day I die of old age. Hold on a minute. Let me go say hello to Lisa. She just stuck her head in the door. Miss Lisa is all taken care of. Nobody else is home, so I had to go do the right thing. Make sure she has everything she needs. Tron, is that what you're getting on Twitter? Because for markets, it's all doom and gloom. Yeah. Well, even when we're making new highs, that happens. It's the strangest thing. And what you'll find is that when the market finally starts to get bearish, those clowns get bullish. Let's see. I think we're gonna get fills tonight too. Something tells me we're gonna get in the mix. Let's take a look. Let's see. Looks like we could end up with fills. So, Tron, I don't read any of the feeds as far as what people think about markets. All of that comes from the charts for me. I really don't care what people think. I don't listen to their opinions. I don't try to side with them, yes or no. I just don't even listen. In reality, the economy is very good. Just that inflation is up right now. The stuff that we go to buy in the stores is getting expensive. It's getting ugly. You know why? It's becoming a country of, maybe even a world of, you have to create your own gig somehow. You have to make your own money. The internet is here. You have to figure out how to use it and make your own money. Looking for a job, it's easier to create one today than it is to find one. You just got to be creative. You got to get out there and do something. The internet makes competition fierce, right? So the other thing is you got to come up with something that's slightly different somehow, and that's not easy. Yes, absolutely. We have an opinion in gold. Give it another day, and we'll get another signal. Gold is right. Let me think. Gold is here. If you give gold another day, we'll get a signal. I mean, some people have their signal already. Oh, I'm sorry. Some people have their signal already, but me, I like confirmation. So if we're using this channel, we had nothing but good signals on this channel on the way down. You had a 2-day spurt. You get back in that channel, you get a new signal. That's what I'd be looking for. Well, that is what I'm looking for. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got my camera in the wrong place. I never know where this damn camera's going to be. Let's do that again. All right. Jay, if you're looking at the YouTube, you'd see that gold had a 2-day spurt out of the channel, and it's on its way back into the channel. If it gets back in the channel, we get another signal. I don't even subscribe to that. What the crowd mentality thinks. People's opinions are just crazy. I had a guy who wrote on my YouTube video last night, analysis doesn't work that way, Oscar. Sorry. And I wrote, well, look at the markets today. And he wrote back, I only saw your 30-second video. He didn't even watch the whole video, but he claimed analysis doesn't work. Hello. Ah, very good. So you tell me when it's ready and I'll go get it for you. Yep. Yeah, I figured once we spoke to Alma, she'd go, oops, I forgot to do that yesterday, and that's what happened. You know what I mean? She was using that as an excuse. That got past her. Because there's no way. You know, see how quick suddenly it was called in? Yeah, I think she just forgot. They are busy there, as you can see. All right, girl. Call me when you need me to pick up the medicine. All right, bye. So we went to the doctor yesterday. Lisa needed a refill of her medications. Some of them are pain medications. And we think the lady forgot to call him in because Lisa had no pills this morning. And we called the doctor back and they went, oh, we're waiting for approval from your insurance company, which is nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It's a refill. They just forgot to call it in. So they just finally called it in. Oh, we're waiting for her insurance company. No, you're not. That's already been approved, you liars. We know how this works. Anyway, so if you're watching YouTube, Jay, you'll see that we're getting ready. Not yet. You gotta give it a little time, but we're getting ready for another signal in gold. Silver probably is already offering. Let's see if Silver got back in its little channel yet. No, but Silver looks just as ugly. But I agree that only retail traders are watching the doom and gloom on Twitter. I don't think that funds look at Twitter to decide whether or not they like the market. You never know. So what can the Fed do? There's no way they can lower rates. That's not happening. It'd be scary if they raise rates. They'd scare the shit out of everybody and the market itself. I don't think they can do anything. I think they should raise rates, but they don't know what to do. I don't think they're going to do anything. We're certainly pushing towards a rate rise, though. Now, you weren't here for this, Jay. About a month and a half ago, I did an assessment on bonds live in front of everyone. And I said, according to what I'm seeing, the next move is going to be a raise. No way they lowering anymore. According to what this chart looks like, the next move is a raise, not a lower. 2 months later, now, we're almost at a spot where they might raise. You never know. Well, the charts did not lie. We'll find out what they do. But you can see what the bonds have done. They're raising the rates themselves. So I know many of you were here for that assessment when I did the bond assessment, and I said no matter what the street says, this chart says we're probably going to raise rates before we lower them next. We'll find out. Hey, Dan, are you around? Dano, are you there? Because we've got a book or a piece of a book that we're supposed to be promoting. So, Jay, they can come up with reasons for it now, but I promise you the reason was exactly what I was telling people as it was getting ready to go public. What I told people from the start was that the problem with SpaceX is this. If you were worth $10 million or more, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, and everybody else gave you shares at 135. Everyone else that couldn't afford that could afford shares at 150 when it opened it. when it opened. The people who didn't buy it at 150 and couldn't afford the 135s plowed themselves in all the way up to 200. Who is left? There's no one left. The whole crowd is in, right? The insiders got in first. The smart traders bought the IPO on the opening day, and then the laggards, the ones who weren't paying attention, mushroomed it up to 200. Who's left? Nobody. It's what I've been saying since it started. There's no one left to buy it. So now you got to wait for it to come back to a spot where the people who did buy feel it's okay to buy more to enter their positions. That's going to be a little bit lower. Now, I did tell you that I couldn't assess this till it had some chart to it, right? Because it had no chart. Once I had a long enough chart, I was able to make an assessment and start giving downward projections, which matched my fundamental thoughts completely. But I've been around long enough. When something is that hyped up, there's nobody left once it finally gets there. Same thing happened with Bitcoin, if you remember. It got so hyped up that it was going to become a futures market in Chicago and start trading as a futures Bitcoin. And Bitcoin went, oh, and it got there and it mushroomed, and then it spent a year and a half going down. I was going to say that too. Peter has been the seller of rallies since he was born. The market's been going up since he was born. He's gotten it right 3 years. 3 years since the 80s, he was right. He was right in 87, he was right in 2008, and he was right in 2000. That's about it. He's had a lot of wrong years. There used to be a Elliott Wave market timer. Who's the big lunatic, the Elliott Wave guy? And, I mean, his whole life, all he did was call for the downside. Everyone must know his name. He was big name. I hated Elliott Wave, so I didn't bother. Oh, yeah, Prechter. Boy, did I forget that asshole. I never met anybody with so much talent be so stupid in my life. That was Prechter. He was just so bad. He was so bad at what he did. You know, there's been talk about the gold standard. Do you realize just how stupid that talk is? I mean, to put the world on the gold standard or America, there's not enough gold in this country to match the money that Elon Musk has, let alone the world's money. You can't use gold. It's not feasible. You can't use anything. Nothing's feasible. Salt water is feasible. We have almost as much money on this planet as salt water. You know, we're not talking long ago. 1980, 1990, $10 million made you one of the richest people that there was. Once you reach $100 million, you're in an elite group that very few people will ever see. Now, if you're worth $5 billion, you're considered a loser. You're a nobody. You can't even sit at the proper tables if you're only worth $5 billion. Money has really increased dramatically. Hey, Dano, have you been reading the emails? Well, according to what we can see, $1 is $1.28 right now. Come on, what's wrong with you? It's 101.28. I'm laughing because that's just a number. It's not what our dollar's worth. You go to the store, you see what your dollar's worth. His name was Prechter, actually, with an E. It's Prechter, not Proctor. He was the biggest, the most foremost Elliott Wave technician who caught the attention of the press. Yes, Prechter. And he caught the attention of the press And when analysis was still voodoo, he was able to pull off his act, if you will, because Elliott Wave allows you to be wrong and still be right. Everyone's wrong and still right in Elliott Wave. It's a wonderful piece of analysis. Now, your account wouldn't dare agree that Elliott Wave works. Your account would never agree with it. But if you're not actually trading and you're just making calls, you can be right even when you're wrong with Elliott Wave, because all you have to do is go, oh, hold on a moment. I see that wasn't the beginning of wave 3. That was an ABC of wave 2. It looked like wave 2 was over, but now that wave 3 didn't start, it's actually an ABC I'm going to get of wave 2. You could just morph it into any bullshit you want to turn it into. It's such nonsense. It's such nonsense. It doesn't work. It's anything you want it to be, which means it doesn't really work because people don't know how to have discipline. So the other side of Elliott Wave is this. Unless you could go back to the first chart, the first day that the stock market ever traded, and you could start counting the waves properly from that day, day one of the stock market, then you got to count them right, get right all the way to today. And if you could do that, you'd know where you were at Elliott Wave right now. But you can't do that. Why? Because the data in the beginning was handwritten and some of it's wrong. There is no way you could go back to the beginning with Elliott Wave. You can on Bitcoin. You can on E-mini S&P. You can't on some of the markets that have been around longer than it has, or longer than computers when things were written with paper, with pencil, because a lot of things were incorrect back then. I promise you, it is bullshit. I was an Elliott Wave timer technician for 5 years until I realized it was just total nonsense. Is this new? Let's see. What's this lunatic have for us now? What is Prepta trying to show the world now?
If you live in San Diego, you've probably heard of people going over to Mexico to get their dental implants done.
Time to talk technicals. In November of 2009, Elliott Wave's Bob Prechter was bullish on the dollar.
God.
In June of this year, he told our viewers to sell. If you acted on those calls, you would have seen a 15% return on the investment. Meanwhile, Prechter remains bearish on the broader equity market despite the recent breakout. He's predicting that the Dow will fall below 1,000 within the next 6 years.
All right. I had already called the bottom in 2009. In 2008, I called the bottom in 2009. It happened in 2009. This idiot in 2010 is still calling for the downside. Oh my God. Do we get stupider than him? Can we get any stupider than him? You know, there's a whole crowd of omniacs that hang around me now. They came from a place called the Slope of Hope, where a guy who was their mentor, I guess, and the leader of their group was in the same position as Prechter. The market's going to crash, and that's all he said during 2010, 11, and 12, as it just went straight up. All he did was talk about more downside. And what I didn't realize was I got invited to a party at the top of Mandalay Bay in a beautiful place. And we were in a room, and there was a bunch of people in the room, and I didn't know who was who for sure. And one of them said, "What do you think of Tim Knight thinking that the market's still bearish?" And I said, "Well, let me just say, anyone at all that thinks the market's still bearish, A, doesn't know how to read charts, B, needs to turn the chart over and look at it in the mirror, and C, is just caught up in their own stupidity. Because it's obvious anyone with a good pair of eyes can see that the market has turned." And at that moment in time, I did not realize Tim Knight is in the room sitting on a chair. He gets up, walks over to me, shakes my hand. He says, "Oscar, I don't think this is the time or place to have this conversation." And he walked out of the party and left. It was his party. I didn't know he was there. I did not know. I would have never done that to him. I would have never disrespected him that way. I did not know he was there. So someone set me up. One of his crowd set me up to ask that question in front of his eyes. If I had I known he was there, I would have been much more gentlemanly about it. I would have sat down with him. I would have asked him why he's still bearish, and I would have shown him some reasoning that might have changed his mind. I didn't know he was in the room. It wasn't. It wasn't my intention to insult him at all. I would have never done that to him. The guy wrote a good program, sold a book, did great stuff in the business. I would never have insulted him like that. But I didn't know he was in the room. My opinion remains the same. You have to be absolutely, your head has to be so stuffed up your ass you can't even see anymore. That had still been bearish in 2010. Hiya, but there is this. Oh, that party was 2010-ish, right around there. 2010, 2011-ish, right around there. But you got to understand, you know what? You guys want to see something. Let's see if I could just show you the difference between what reading charts does as opposed to having an opinion and reading charts. Most of these guys have too big of an opinion, and then they use the chart to prove out their opinion to people. I don't have an opinion because I'm not smart enough to have one. I know better. Apply for the Oscar. Lisa's prescription is ready for pickup. All right, so let me see if I could find something to you that will just prove to you I don't use anything but charts. If I had an opinion, it would be wrong like everybody else's. What was it called? Oh my God, what's the name of the video? Huh. I have to go all the way back to where would this video be? We have a compilation. I know I can find it. Let me look in playlists. Let me see what I can do here. Could it have been a weekend webinar? Let me check. Maybe it was a weekend webinar. Videos. How many? How do we get to weekend webinars? How do I get to this playlist? Let's figure this out. How do I get to my playlist here? It says there's it's a playlist, but I don't see anything in it. I wonder if we could just go back. Oh, this is it. Promo. So these two were done February 3rd and February 4th. Let's look at these. Hold on a moment. Let's get this guy out of
We
here.
spoke in yesterday's video about a possible rounded top of this S&P. We had a top, and we put another top in a little bit lower a few days later, and we put another top in that's sort of rounded. If we do not take those tops out tomorrow or the next couple of days, then they're going to push them right back down again. However, if that rounded top gets violated towards the upside and NASDAQ makes new highs, away we go. And if you guys recall, for months on end, I've been saying the 1577 level has been my target since this year began.
Do you know what the high in 2007 was? 1576. I called for 1577 to be the high. It got to 1576. That was the high. Okay, now watch this. It's going to continue. I was able to tell you the high 8 months before it got there.
3 times a
Now I'm gonna show you the low.
I've learned. So, if you bulls want to make a case, don't start today because I expect this to be way into next year. I think we could see as low as 668 in the S&P.
My call was actually 666. I wouldn't dare put that on the trading board or on the whiteboard or say it in the video, so I went up to 668. We dropped. Now look at the date. This is 11/15 of 08. We dropped to 666 in March of 09, exactly as I explained. It would happen next year.
Traders, 668. We can go that low while we're producing what could be that inverted, big bottoming inverted head and shoulders.
So we got the high right within 1 point of the stock market crash in 2007. Before it crashed, we called the low. Then we hit the low. Watch what I do next. If it plays. Wait until you see the next one.
Now, traders, this is a bold statement, but you know me, traders. Any of my long-term video fans, when I make these long-term projections, we have not been wrong on our long-term outlook at all since we've started these videos. You take a look at the 561 videos that are out there, and you will see whenever we've made long-term projections, those videos turned out to be absolutely right. My projection for this year in the S&P, and I'm not saying it's going to be a top by any means, and I'm not saying when it's going to get there, but I am going to say this. The bull market is going to take us to the levels of 1290 to 1300 in the S&P.
I was calling a bull market while I spoke to Tim Knight that night. I've called the bull market. We're going to 1290. F you morons who can't see the difference, and watch what happens.
I think that we at least go there, and then we'll see what happens. 1290 to 1300 this year.
Guess what happened? We closed at the price of 1290. Smack damn at the price of 1290. 10 days into the new year. Settled at 1290. For all the people out there that were still calling the downside. Kiss my ass if you don't know how to do analysis, people. I'm sorry. Pisses me off when people make stupid calls because they didn't look at charts. So that all happened before your eyes. I don't know if he's still around. I think he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. I just think was caught up on the short side for too long. But all of that stuff happened way before we ever hit those levels. You find another person that knew we would get to 1577. You find another person that knew we would hit 666, stop cold, and go to 1290. You find anyone else that could do work that good. You won't find anyone else on the planet that's that good. That got me in a lot of trouble. You know what that video was for, Jay? That was for me to leave the NFA. So I told the NFA, all right, so here's how this works. I was part of the NFA for 35 years. I never had a problem, never had a blemish, never had a report against me. And believe me, I'm probably the only guy in 35 years that somehow didn't end up in trouble, because they would show up in your office and look for anything, including stupid stuff like this. If you had an account that was open, you have an open account drawer file. If you had a closed account, you have to have a closed account drawer file drawer. If the NFA goes through your open account drawer and finds one of the closed accounts in there, they fine you for it. They were assholes like that. They would fine you for anything at all. So they tried to find me. They tried to figure out why I'm straight and normal and how come I don't do things wrong for 35 straight years. They were never able to find anything wrong with me, but they gave me nothing but grief. All right. So the back and forth between me and them was never good. I was always a FU type, kiss my ass NFA. I always fought with them my whole 35 years. All right. So the last time that they audit me, they send some auditors to my office. They're standing outside in front of my building here. And this is a true story, Jay. You're going to love this. It's 5 a.m. It's pouring raining out. And I hear my dogs, my 3 Mastiffs, are out in front barking like crazy. They come out from under the shelter. They're out in the rain barking. What are my dogs barking for? I run outside, and I swear I'd never seen anything like this before. There were 3 NFA agents, and they were in, oh, I'll call this guy back in a moment. There were 3 NFA agents in trench coats and black hats in the rain, standing out there in the rain. So I walk over to the gate and I said, "What are you guys doing here while my dogs are barking like crazy? It's 5 a.m. They said, "We want to come in your office. We want to walk in right now without you being ready. And we want to step foot in your office and see what's going on in there." And I said, "Isn't that interesting? Do you see where you're standing, right? You're standing in front of a building that's also my home. Here's what you 3 assholes are going to do." This is absolutely what happened. Said, "You're going to get in your little piece of shit car. You're going to drive off my block. Go have breakfast somewhere. Then at 9 a.m., you're going to call me like any other businessman would do to another. You're going to show me respect. You're going to call me and ask if you could come to my office, and I'll decide then." These 3 guys turned around and just hightailed it. They jumped in their car and just took off. They come back at 9 o'clock. They make a phone call. No problem. "You guys want to come in? Great. Come on in." I let them in. And instead of letting them come into my office, I said to them, "You're not stepping foot in my office. Here's where you can go. In my garage," it's fully furnished. You know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful music room. "In my garage, I've got an office set up for you. There's a table. There's a refrigerator with water and soda in there. There's electricity. You guys sit in the office. Any files you need, you ask me for. I'll bring them out to the garage office. You're not walking in my office." Why not? Well, because I'm on camera 24 hours a day, and I don't want people who follow me on camera to think I'm under investigation, because I'm not. And you, Gestapo, are not stepping foot in my office in front of my cameras. "Okay, Oscar, we'll stay in the garage." Let me just let him know. I'll call him back. So, they're in the garage, and someone joins the trading room. Right? A new guy joins the trading room, and I see a new guy joins. And the new guy writes, "Hi, I'm new to the trading room." Enter. Next question. "Hi, what do you think? Do you think Oscar is honest and fair?" Enter. Next question. "Do you think Oscar makes his money on the internet or off of trading?" Enter. And I write, "The next stupid question that comes out of my garage, I'm sending in the Mastiffs." Enter. The guy immediately leaves the trading room, right? Disappears out of the trading room. I go out into the garage with some waters. "Hi, everybody. Can I give you some waters? Just checking in on you." I knew it was him, right? So they knock on the door. "Can we have something from the office?" "Sure, go back in the garage. I'll get it for you." So for 4 days, I treat them that way. They're not walking in my office. F you people, stay in the garage. Do whatever the hell you want. Stay away from me. Your job as you're a guy who failed the bar. Otherwise, you'd be a lawyer. You go to the NFA, and what's the NFA tell you? You go to Oscar's office. If you could take Oscar down, you move a notch up the ladder. These are failed lawyers who couldn't pass bars that they sent. All right, so I've got no love for these assholes. You know what I mean? They're going to get the side of me that most people don't see unless you flip me, and you see a side of me that's total New York asshole, right? So they're getting the total New York asshole side of me. I am just abusing them. 4 or 5 days they're here. Finally, they leave. And I call the NFA, and I said, I've had enough. I am retiring from the NFA. And the way you retire from the NFA, you have to send in what's called an 8, the number 8, letter T. You send in an 8T. If you sign that 8T and send it in by fax or email, you have thrown yourself out of the NFA. You're out. Don't sign that piece of paper unless you mean it, Oscar. You sign that piece of paper, you're out of the NFA. Perfect. I take the 8T, I sign it, I'm out, I shoot it in, I send it by email, and I even literally took out a fax machine, dusted it off. It was like 2021. I dusted off the fax machine, plugged it in, and I sent the NFA a fax as well. So in the same day, they received a letter stating I quit, and this is legal, I quit, and the fax. Well, now that I've quit the NFA, they can't do anything to me in my videos anymore. They used to go crazy on me for my videos. So that night, I'm going to the NFA. Kiss my ass. I quit NFA. You can kiss my ass. I'm never going to do this again. And I'm making fun of them. I'm goofing on the NFA, and I'm telling them to kiss my ass because I know I'm out, right? This is all like a Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, I get a phone call from the top lawyer in Chicago for the NFA. Oscar, what did you do? I said, what did I do? I quit. I'm tired of you guys playing this game with me. I quit the NFA. I sent in my 8T last night. I quit. He goes, yes, but I didn't get the 8T. I didn't approve upon it yet. What you did in your videos, you've got 17 people in this office losing their minds on you right now. They want me to come after you with full force. They want me to come after you and charge you with stuff you didn't even do, Oscar. You created the problem. I said, well, you can't charge me with stuff I didn't do. He goes, well, that's the problem. If we charged you, you'd prove that you were innocent 2 years later. How much in legal fees? 100,000 in legal fees? 200,000 in legal fees? To prove that you've done no wrong? What do you want me to do? I said, I don't know. What do you want me to do? He goes, well, it's mainly the women here. I've got like 5 women that are really, really incensed. They really want to come after you. I got to get you out of the NFA because you've signed your 8T, but I can't just sign off on it because they're losing their minds. They want me to investigate you. I said, so what do I got to do? He goes, all right, let me see if I could set something up. He hangs up, calls me back about 20 minutes later. He goes, Oscar, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in all the people in the NFA that are mad at you. He said, I'm going to put you on speaker, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to promise the NFA that now that you've left, you will not apply again for the next 5 years. I said, do I have to sign anything like that? Because I'm not agreeing to that bullshit at all. If I want to be back in the NFA tomorrow, I'm jumping back in. So if I get a $20 million client and he wants me in the NFA, I'm jumping back in the NFA. He goes, no, you don't have to sign anything. This is just a verbal thing. The girls need to hear this. So I'm going to put you on speaker. What you're going to tell them is, I promise I will not even consider coming back to the NFA. If I ever did, it'll be 5 years minimum. If you say that to them, I don't care when you come back because you're not signing anything. But you're going to have to calm these girls down. If you don't calm them down, I'm going to have to come after you. I'm like, I can't even believe we're having this conversation. No, he goes, all right, I'll call you back. Make sure that you do your part. He calls me back in about 15 minutes. Okay, all the staff is here, Oscar. Would you please tell us what your plans are for the future? Oh, as far as I'm concerned, I'm out of the NFA. I've sent in my 8T. I will never be back. Forget about 5 years. I'll never be back again. I will never be back again. And I hung up the phone and they let me go. But that's where that video came from. It got me in all kinds of trouble. All right, so in order to share in commissions, all right, so before I was this Omni guy, well, I always did the Omni, right? We always had the Omni. But before I created the Omni Trading Academy, I used to be what's called a broker who had a bank of telephones, and people called in orders to me, and I would call the trading floors when I wasn't down on the trading floor. When I was on the trading floor, they called my booths directly, and we placed the orders for them. So I had and introducing brokership for many, many years. Now, the clearing firm is collecting a lot of money in commissions. And if you're not part of the NFA, you can't share in those commissions. So I was part of the NFA so I could share in the commissions. But I really never made a lot of money in commission because it was more about trading and the Omni that made the money. So that's what I told the NFA. I said, I don't really make any money on commissions anyway. Stick this up your ass. I don't need it anymore, you know? I'd rather take less money per year, make it up another way than deal with Yucca Stapo bullshit. So the NFA assumes that everybody is guilty. That's that. You're guilty, you're guilty, you're guilty. We just need to find it. And then every now and then they run into someone who's not, and they crucify the not guilty person because they don't understand why they can't find something wrong with you. They literally audited me for about 35 straight years. Once I started doing the YouTube videos, they would audit me every year. They're supposed to audit every 2 years. Every year, like clockwork, they would come after me. Never once, not even one blemish. I would say to them, I know what I can say in my videos. I know what I can't say. I know what I can say better than you. Do you know why? You're 27 years old. I'm 52. I've been in the business about as long as you've been alive. I know what I can say. I don't have to worry that the NFA is watching my videos. I'm not going to say anything that's going to overpromise anything to anyone. I'm going to always tell people to put stops in first because this is a very risky business and a lot of people lose. And I'm going to point out simple technical analysis. I'm not going to give them opinions. You know, they didn't like any of that. They came after me the entire time I did videos. But I believe me, I knew the NFA rules better than those young cats. I know what I can and can't get away with. And, you know, NFA is kind of simple. It's really about, does it look, sound, or smell wrong to you? If so, it's wrong. Take my word for it. It's really common sense. You don't really need to know too many rules to know when you're going over the line. If I say, hey, trade with me, you could make $1 million. I know I've gone way over the line, right? I've gone way over the line. If you don't know that, you're not paying attention to the words coming out of your mouth. If I say, hey, man, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but last year we somehow made $1 million with the Omni. Maybe moving forward we'll lose. I don't know. But that's what happened last year. That you can get away with as long as you have proof that that's what you did. So it's how you say what you say that can get you in big trouble. So one of the first things they wanted me to stop saying was stops are in, emotions are out. And a stop is your best friend. These two things, the NFA came after me and said, you can't say them in your videos. And I said, I can't say put your stops in first in my videos? What the F is wrong with you guys? I thought your job was to protect the public against crooks that you think I am, right? I'm a crook in your eyes. Is it your job to protect the public against so-called crooks? Well, a so-called crook's going to come out and say things like, don't use stops. Stops don't work. I'm a guy who comes out and says, put your stops in first. Don't ever trade without a stop. And here's what they said. You're misleading your public. Do you know why, Oscar? Stops don't always work. Sometimes they get run over and they keep going. So you can't say that. And I said, so, you know what? Let's do something here. Let's summarize what was just said to me. You're telling me a crowd that's going to listen to what I tell them to do. You're telling me it's not a good idea to tell them put your stops in first and a stop is your best friend because sometimes stops don't work. Do you even understand the words coming out of your mouth? Because you sound like a stupid child. And they didn't like being spoken to that way by me, but they did understand when I would make points like that. You know what I mean? They would back down a little. I would say, what kind of words are coming out of your mouth right now? You're asking me to protect the public by talking about stops, but you don't want me to talk about stops because you feel they don't always work. So if 500 people put stops in and 30 of them didn't work, the other 470 shouldn't put them in according to you. I'm not listening to you. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You want to find me? Find me. And I would fight back with them constantly. Which one is
The
this?
sudden drop in oil prices
Oh, I remember
isn't
this.
a huge surprise to some. One guest predicted it right here on Money 2 years ago.
For perspective, in 1998, crude was only $9.91 a barrel.
Where
In
is that?
2001, crude was
This
$14.59
is
a
how much
barrel.
I used
Then
to pay
you
for
move
home
us out
insurance,
to
but
2000.
I don't know what just happened, kids. That went away.
Just in
I
2009.
use solvable
So that tells
What
us
the
that
hell?
Now
we're
I
moving.
only pay
We should have crude
There
oil
it
back
is.
down under $40 a barrel by mid 2015.
I don't know about that. You had me until you said 40. Look who's right
You
now.
dumb
Joining
bitch.
me now, Oscar Carboni, president of Omni Trading Academy. So, Oscar, I gotta say, I love
I don't know
you.
where that's
You're like
playing,
tweeting
kids.
at me
It's
the
playing
last couple
somewhere.
days saying, I was on your show and I predicted this was gonna happen. So I said that can't
I
possibly
don't know
be
where
true.
this is
We went
playing
back, we
at.
looked at the tape, and of course we found it. You saw it. You said it was going under 40 by mid 2015. We're pretty darn close. When do you think we go under 40 here?
I think it will continue to move lower. I think you'll actually see
Where
the
could
price
this
of
be
30,
playing?
35, and then 30 might be
Oh, it's
floor.
playing in my chat
And it
room.
appears that they will not stop pushing the price
I
of
get
crude
it
down
now.
right now. As you know, I made that projection for you. I use technical analysis always when I start a projection. Everything starts there. In fact, I spend about 20 hours a day in a live chat room on a camera and microphone doing analysis every day. So I've got so many logged hours, more than anyone, and here's what I did. I found the technical picture, and then I always go out and look for a fundamental reason why to prove out my technical picture.
Well, so
a couple
what
of
was your
years
fundamental?
ago,
Yeah, what was your fundamental reason?
well, what I did was I seen the price was going to come down on the chart, so I took the price of crude over 15 years, the price of the stock market, and the price of the dollar, crude relative to those two, and then I looked at how much crude production was being made, shale. I added it all together and extrapolated $40, which matched my technical projection, and then I came on the show to tell you about it.
And you
I'm-
threw me off the
You know,
show.
I'm floored because I started covering crude oil in 2003, so I've seen it make this big sweep, and I'm surprised to see it back where it is. So you think it's going to go down?
So listen
somewhere
to
near
this.
30? Does it?
Do you know how I ended up back on that show? I was on that show. Another good story. You'll appreciate this. Let me just find the chat room if it still exists. All right, so I get an email. No. Email? I get an email from Fox News. Hey, Oscar, you want to be on TV today? And I see the email and I write back, sure, what's the topic? And they write back, crude oil, what do you think? And I write back, well, I think crude's going down. Enter. They write back, no interview for you today. Done. Wonder what that's about. The guy that gets on TV talks about the upside. Oh, interesting. I get another email on Wednesday. Hey, Oscar, you want to be on TV today? Sure, you know me. I'll take a TV interview. What's today's topic? Once again, it's crude. What do you think, Oscar? I write back, I think it's going lower. They write back to me, no interview. I watched the guy that gets on TV that day, and I promise he doesn't have half the skills I have when it comes to speaking or knowing about markets, but he's there, not me. So I get an email on a Friday, same week now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Hey, Oscar, you want to be on TV? Sure, what's today's topic? Today's topic is crude oil. What do you think? I write back this time, I don't know. What do you think? They write back, we think it's going up. And I write back, what do you know? So do I. Enter. Totally lying for my teeth. What do they write back to me? You have an interview today. Get ready. Just like that. Because now they expect me to agree with them. Now, here's what they didn't do, luckily. They didn't watch the video from the night before. The night before, my YouTube video clearly stated I expect big downward movement in crude oil. They didn't watch it. They call me, and I pretend I'm going to talk about the upside. So they invite me on TV. I get on TV, and I go, okay. Omniacs, I'm talking to Oscar, what do you think? And I said, well, in all honesty, at first glance, you would think the market's going up. But in reality, I've got unequivocal proof that we're going to trade down to $45 a barrel. Right now, it's $107. We're going to go to $45 a barrel. And she says, stop the cameras, get this nut off my set. And they vaudevilled me with the hook off the set. And as they were throwing me off the set, I said, Melissa, what are you getting rid of me for? We didn't finish the interview. She goes, I thought you were a serious guy. You're a nut. I didn't know you were a nut. I said, what makes you think I'm a nut? You're calling for crude to go to $45 a barrel. She says, I have been in crude. I've been studying it since 2003. I said, isn't that interesting? I was there when Mayor Dinkins cut the ribbon to start crude oil trading. For the first time it ever traded, I was there in the pit, and I've been part of crude since the first day we started trading it in New York City. I've been there since the beginning, and I promise you we're going to $45 a barrel based on the charts. If the charts change, that's another story. She don't want to hear it, she throws me off the set. Well, we start dropping exactly as I told her we would. Bam, slam, crack, smack, bam, we go to $45 a barrel. My phone starts ringing. Hey, Oscar, how did you know we were going to $45 a barrel? You're the only one who knew. We had on dozens of analysts that month. You're the only one who called it right. How did you know? I said, well, how about this? If you apologize to me and invite me back on TV and apologize, I'll tell you. So that was actually her apology right there, believe it or not. That was her apologizing to me. Oh, guess who was right all along? Because what was she going to say? You know what I mean? So that's why I did 2 interviews. That was my second interview. Well, so here's the thing. They have a morning agenda. Today, we're going to have people on that are bullish. And that's it. You're only going to answer calls and emails from bullish people. If tomorrow's agenda is bearish, they call bearish people. Their agenda for crude was bullish, and they just kept trying to get me to say bullish. And the charts don't say bullish. I'll never say those words. Boy, was I right about that, huh? So I've made some of the biggest calls that anyone from Wall Street has ever made in the history of markets, because some of the biggest moves we've ever had in our entire history have been made while I've been around, and I've called almost all of them so far. Melissa Francis. I've been on TV about 80 or maybe 100 times. I quit doing the TV interviews because it's nonsense. They sit you in a dark room with a camera pointed at you with a fake background and a piece in your ear. The guy who's sitting next to you on TV, he's in another state. You don't even know where he is. You don't even get to speak to him. You hear them saying, okay, you're going to be next. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 10 seconds. Okay, Oscar, you get your 2 minutes. Go ahead and speak. Then you start to speak. You're speaking to yourself in a dark room. It's bullshit. I said, you want to get the best out of me? You bring me any of your pundits and you let me match wits with them. Live on camera? That I'll handle. You want me to sit in this dark room? I'm not doing this. Is bullshit. Well, yeah, I decided not to do it. I had, I've done, between radio, TV, I've probably done 200 interviews during that time. TV probably 50, 60 times. But YouTube, I'll tell you what. Here's the thing about YouTube. If you need to fix something, repair something, if you need the truth about something, you don't go anywhere but YouTube. That is where you get the best instructors on the planet. If you wanted to figure out what you need to take the screws out of this, you go to a YouTube video. Some expert is going to show you exactly what to do, and it's for free. It is the best platform on the planet, YouTube. There's nothing as good. I had a problem with my car. Called the dealer and said, hey, my car is dead. There is no key fob when the battery doesn't work, and there's no key for my car. How the hell do you get in the car when the key fob doesn't work and the battery's dead? And the dealer goes, oh, give me a moment. And I hear him going through the manual. And he's going through the manual, and he's going, Oscar, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to get you in this car. I go to him, well, I have an idea. Let's look it up on YouTube. So him and I both look it up on YouTube. There it is on YouTube. It explains that first you got to pop the hood. Under the hood, there's a lever. If you pull that lever, it'll open up the back for you where the battery is. These are things you could never dream of knowing because it doesn't work that way on any other car. You could not know that. YouTube straightened us right out. And the mechanic on the other end of the phone was cracking up. It's like, wow, I work at the Jaguar dealer, and I didn't know that. I had to go to YouTube to tell you how to fix your car. some of the best market calls that have ever happened in the history of mankind happened on YouTube. I know this personally. Ah, you found Claude and TradingView on YouTube, huh? Very nice. You know, I've been on YouTube since it started, since 06, when it was purchased and created. I've been on YouTube ever since. How did I pop the hood of the car? You know, that's a great question. I don't remember how we did it. It was like 3 years ago. How the hell did we get in the car? Because you're right. How did I pop the hood? I don't remember. I have to look at the YouTube video. So in the certain type of Jaguars, the battery's in the trunk, and there's no way in that car without a key fob. I forgot how he made it, how we did that. It was YouTube, though, that got us through it. What do I think about the imbalances 10 minutes before the close? Well, here's what I could give those 2 words. That used to be called the afternoon delight. We had a trade that lasted about 4 or 5 years that every day, no matter how we did in the markets, win or lose, we could expect to get back points in the S&P in the last 15 minutes based upon what you just asked me about, the imbalances. That lasted for years. It worked really, really well. And what imbalances are is this. You own a clearing firm. You are responsible for the positions of everyone collectively. Even though you have all individual customers, they're in your clearing firm, you are financially responsible for that collective position. What most firms do is they look at their collective position and say, we got 9,000 customers. Between all of them, long, short, this, that, we would need to purchase 50 S&P to be delta neutral for the evening. They'll go out and buy those 50 S&P to almost hedge their book of customers that they're holding positions for, just in case the world comes to an end, their company doesn't go out of business. That's what that imbalance mostly is. It's getting to delta neutral before the close. Hey, and I have to remember how we did that. Geez, I don't remember how we got in. Wait a minute. So we used a lever under the hood, which popped the trunk. The battery was in the trunk. We couldn't get to that. I think there's a key that lets you in the front door, but there's no key to the trunk. And without a battery, you can't get the trunk open to get to the battery. Jim, thank you for asking. Lisa is doing much better. Each day she gets a little bit stronger. In fact, about 4 in the morning last night, dozed off for a little while, woke up, looked to my right. She wasn't even in her bed. She was running around the house with her walker. Oh, she's starting to feel a little better. Slowly. It's going to take her a long time, but slowly she's getting better. Thank you. Ben, do you remember me doing the call last year at the Lowe's? Do you remember me doing the call the year before at the Lowe's too? Right when Trump did tariffs. And then last year was the beginning of the war. I called them both right at the bottom. Ben Kronk, if you've been paying attention, thank you. Does anybody remember me calling the bottom in COVID? The day of the bottom? I know that my programmer got rich off that call because he put himself in the market that day.
No, I went ahead and picked up medicine and stuff from home.
Oh, you did? Good,
Yeah,
because I got the call for that.
Yep, I'll take care of.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
How's your mom?
Good, sitting in the kitchen.
Yeah, why would any company play? Now, get this. There is a key to get in that car. You don't usually ever use it. It's like stuck inside of the key fob, and you'd only take it out. It's a strange looking key if you had a problem. But that only gets you in the compartment. It can't get you in the trunk. There is no key to the trunk. There's no way in the trunk unless you pop something in the hood. Yeah, that Tesla call was great. But if you guys remember, we called the Lowe's in COVID before they got there. I told everybody where it would get to. This is the spot that we're going to buy when it cracks there. And it went right to that spot. We called the top in S&P 2007, the bottom in 2008, the rally for 2009, 10, 11. We called the flash crash. Nope. I'm sorry, we didn't call it flash crash. We called COVID. We called the trade centers. We got all that stuff right. We didn't miss anything since 87. We even got the 87 savings and loans debacle right. If you want to go back, you can find faxed technical analysis to people all over the world when that happened. Well, there's only one opinion you can have on oil right now. It's in the middle of a war, and it's not looking back anytime soon. It's very too expensive, I'll tell you that much. No, I got to do my analysis first, Nicholas. Now it overshot by 30 points my targets. Now I got to see what comes up next. Where are my bifocals? Hello, binoculars. Hmm. Sorry about that. I know you asked for gold, but I'm on the phone with an OmniCamp who's coming out to the next camp. He's a great guy. So, anyway, the opinion in gold is this. I had mentioned, over the last few weeks that gold keeps offering great sell signals when it gets to this red line. Sell signal, sell signal, sell signal. Ooh, something different. It went up for 2 days. Sell 2 days in a bear market. That's just old adage stuff, right? That's just an adage that everybody knows. You sell 2 up days in a bear market, and it's already coming back down. So here's what you want to do. Nothing yet. If you hold here, right? Just keep it in mind like this. If you happen to hold here, well, then the test worked. We'll make that green, by the way, because red doesn't make sense there. If it held here and you get a bar like this, the test worked. Fantastic. Now we're starting to work our way back up. If you end up with this, which is what I'm expecting, and we'll make that red now. If you end up with this, we have a sell signal once again that we can accept. So that's what I wanted to show you in gold. Okay, traders, I'm going to take a little break because we got to come back at 5 p.m., which is only 50 minutes from now, 50 minutes, and start over again. So I'm going to say goodbye to you, Omniacs, right now. Stops are in, emotions are out. I'm out of here, but you can stay with me past 5. I'm not on YouTube, I will be live at livewithoscar.com, where you can always find me. So just go to livewithoscar.com. It's free, and come join me, okay? Thank you, everybody. I will see you in about 50 minutes.